you just felt like you were on your game.
Yeah, it's been a long trip for us. We wanted to finish off on the right foot before we head home, but for me personally, I just tried to let the game come to me. It's a really good hockey team over there that I know they're without their best player, but that doesn't matter. They got 3 lines that can score, and just to be ready, be prepared. They're very skilled, and found a way to win.
Talk about 3 lines that can score. How did it feel for you to be in net when 3 of your top lines did produce tonight?
Yeah, they've been getting better as the year goes on. I think that's been a mantra here for us.
Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Oh boy, that was bad, awful, terrible, not great, a no good, very bad time for the Edmonton Oilers this evening on what was a already pretty weak night in the NHL. The only other game being the Los Angeles Kings, the Nashville Predators. That game also ending in a shutout. Things didn't improve over on our side of the ice either, as your Edmonton Oilers dropped this one 3-0 to the New Jersey Hockey Devils. My name is Graham Mosimann. Welcome to this episode of Game Over. If you have your feelings, please vent them in the chat so we all can commiserate with our collective sadness over that absolute kind of mess of a hockey game, which is, I think, most entirely frustrating because, once again, the Edmonton Oilers prove that they can put shots on net, they can get grade A scoring chances, they can have all the opportunities in the world, but when one goalie who has, to this season, an .825 save percentage just decides, that's okay, I think I'm going to turn into Ed Belfour today, or Andrew Hammond for that week he was really good in Ottawa. We are going to jump into the game very, very shortly, but first I want to tell you all about one of the coolest shows here on the Game Over Network. They have new episodes coming out on Tuesdays and Fridays. It is Hyperdrive Hockey, where Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all the hockey news and stuff. And they also dive deeply into the chat and see how the chat is feeling. You can find the Hyperdrive Hockey Show on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever great podcasts are sold. So just find your way over to the Hyperdrive Hockey page over at the GameOverNetwork.com. Now, We're going to kind of break the show down quite literally period by period to see where everything kind of went wrong for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. But I did want to start this one off by talking about Amazon Prime. This is the first edition of the Prime show that we got to see with the Edmonton Oilers. They've already had games, a couple now with Toronto, and they've been pretty good. It's been interesting where the strongest parts of the Prime show broadcast are before the game even gets going. So what they had running before the feed really kicked off was just kind of these fan cams. So you were able to turn on the feed, you were able to go watch warm-ups, watch people filling into the stadium. It very much gave you the kind of broadcast experience of like being able to kind of be in the game without actually being, at the game. And for all that, I thought it was really cool. It did start to kind of fall apart, but after they actually started hockey analysis and just doing the regular parts of a hockey game that we're all used to, Dan Tinser tweeted this out partway through the game, and I thought it was a really, really, really great point by a former Edmonton media guy. Feels like the NHL and Prime are missing an opportunity to do something innovative on the broadcast side. They have the talent, they have the broadcast is great, but it's the same format as every other regular broadcast we see. Why not go outside the box even a bit? And I fully kind of agree with him. You have Amazon, which has all the money in the world. They have, obviously, it was just great to hear different voices and see different people and catch the vibe of how other folks are doing hockey rather than our pals at Sportsnet, though I'm very excited to get Jack and Louie back in the very near future. But it felt very much like an away game for the Edmonton Oilers, which it definitely was. I mean, this was a kind of a showcase for Amazon Prime to kind of show off what they can do to the NHL, because for a fact they're going to be one of the primary players, if not the primary player, in getting hockey rights going forward. So with all that, I was really hoping for something like a little just different, a little more fun. Even if you rip off other ideas from other sporting networks. Like take a moment where you can, if an interesting play happens during the course of the game, then you can loop in Thomas Hickey from the studio to have him comment on it in the moment, or do some split screen stuff where you can, even if it's just using the old magic eraser that we're so familiar with. There was more chances for them to do stuff, and it just very kind of felt like a standard away game progress. Very interesting that Stan Bowman joined the broadcast in the very first intermission. You just need to take one quick look at Oilers Twitter to see how well that went over. Didn't go great. Still, a lot of people super stoked with Stan Bowman for extremely understandable reasons. So when you have that, your second intermission is Kevin Lowe. You have these mini pop-ups throughout the game talking about, hey, our co-worker Mark Messier, he has an arena named after him, don't you know? And then just like photos of the rink with some B-roll footage. The stuff with the brick tournament I thought was really, really interesting. Whatever producer put that together did a really nice job with a nice little package of players that are now NHLers that scored really great goals at the brick tournament. But it feels like you should have checked ahead of time to see which of your staff had actually been a part of the tournament, because one of the great stories that they really could have told is this is one that has come out from the brick tournament for years. Parents have a kind of nightmare time with it because their kids basically get let loose in a mall like it's a weird Hallmark hockey movie for the whole length of the tournament, and they didn't touch on any of that stuff. And I was like, okay, well, that's all right, cool, thanks Amazon Prime. I guess that was fun. Are we talking mostly about the Amazon Prime broadcast to avoid talking about the god dang mess that was the Oilers? Probably. Actually, most definitely. We are going to hop into that, though, very, very shortly. But before we get into the actual gunk and or garbage of the Edmonton Oilers performance this evening, I want to tell you about some of the other really cool stuff we have on the go here with our little blob, the Game Over network. Now, we have a number of things and ways, different ways that you can support the company, because we're just little guys. We're trying to make a dent in digital media and trying to kind of add more and more diverse voices to the kind of hockey world. It was really fun to do a show with a crossover with our pal Conrad from Game Over Calgary for the last Oilers win, which it feels like a lifetime ago, but it was just yesterday. And it was really cool because we had two queer men getting to sit down and talk about hockey, which is not something that you traditionally see a lot in the world. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to keep doing more of here across the network. And if you want to help us out, you can do that in a couple different ways. You can support us via LaRouche. It is it's kind of like crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec, like the Game Over Network does. So we're trying to raise $15,000. If we do that, we're going to get access to a whole bunch of government grants that allow us to improve our production quality, allow us to bring in more people, expand our podcast network even more, and getting up to that point will be absolutely mega. So if you want to help us grow via that way, it would mean so much. If you have anything that you want to see, any ideas for what you'd like to have as a giveaway from these crowdfunding efforts, whether it's like specific merch or if you want to guest spot on shows, let us know in the comments on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can also join our server over on Discord. Now that we have the whole broadcast stuff out of the way, oh boy, let's talk about the actual game itself. And if you pop over to Money Puck, and I totally understand when people get frustrated with the use of Money Puck, because you know what? Let's face it, Money Puck is pretty silly and goofy. One of the things that came up as this game went on is that the deserve to win-o-meter just kept going solidly in the Oilers' favor. And yes, the deserve to win-o-meter means absolutely nothing when you score, but when you take a look into the number of high danger scoring chances that the Oilers had throughout this game, it's because everything felt good when this game really started off. The passing was good, the team was firing properly on net. Jake Allen didn't really give him a lot of time to kind of settle in, and the pressure was really, really, really there. And the game was looking good, looked like it was going to be a fun evening. Then Steven Nosen puts in the first goal of the game for the Devils, and you just kind of felt the Oilers start to deflate after that. Jesper Bratt and Paul Cotter assisting on that 5-on-5 goal just 5 minutes into the period, and it just felt like the air got completely let out of the tires for the Oilers. And it's something we've seen a few times over the years, that when they have some momentum and they get going and then a little bit of adversity comes up, it's like, no, we suck again, and they'll kind of lose all that momentum. And so you had about a 6 or 7 minute period where the Oilers were extremely messy after that goal, but hey, they pull things together. They start to push and pressure and cycle the puck properly. Then you get to the second period, and Jesper Bratt on another freaking power play that the Oilers can't even hope to defend ends up potting it in, and at that point you just knew this game was done. When it comes to the Oilers power play and penalty kill, it is so fully brain breaking when you can go from a great performance like they had against the Flames, where you could tell there was just like a little extra spice and they wanted to push it a little bit more, and you had the levels producing like we kind of expected them to then be unable to properly track the puck and keep people from getting alleys in to Calvin Pickard, ultimately allowing Jesper Bratt to score only his third goal of the season. That one assisted by Nico Hischier and Dougie Hamilton. Nico Hischier having just an unreal season. If you drafted him in fantasy and he was like your, depending on how big your league was, like your third or fourth round pick, my goodness, you probably are cleaning up right now. And then when we get to about 10 minutes left in the third period, this bomb of a pass from Dawson Mercer flying over everybody, landing on the stick of Timo Meier, who is not a fast skater. He's a heavy skater, and he bowls through people, but he is never someone that you would describe as fleet of foot. And he's able to cut through the Oilers' defense, get in unaccosted mainly on Calvin Pickard, and then seal this goal away for the New Jersey Devils. You had a couple moments where the Oilers really kind of pushed it. But again, the inability to finish is once again making this Oilers team tear our hair out. Because you look at the numbers and you look at the fancy stats, the Oilers led in every category you could really ask for. And still, ultimately, it doesn't end up coming through. They don't even score on the evening, and it's all done. I mean, the Devils, this whole game, according to Natural Stat Trick, only had 6 high-danger scoring chances. They scored on half of them. Oilers having 13 and capitalizing on exactly 0 of your high dangers. That is absolutely kryptonite. And some of it you can call puck luck. Some of it you can call lack of killer instinct. But at some point, you just need to start putting the puck in the net. And I think we have the reason as to exactly why this happened and continues to happen for the Edmonton Oilers. If you joined us on the Game Over Calgary crossover show that we had with him yesterday after the Flames win, I think this is something that's starting to bear its teeth a little bit more, and that is what we're going to get to in the third segment of this show here on Game Over Edmonton. I'm Graham Mosimann. Thank you so much for joining. You can also find a daily show we have here over on the Game Over Network. It is posted every day at 4 o'clock Eastern, wherever you find your podcast. It is called Game on Hockey. In under 10 minutes, I'm going to take you for a little spin around the world of hockey, diving into the big stories, getting you kind of upset on all the up to date on all the little bits and pieces that are happening. If you want full game breakdowns, go find the podcast versions of this show over on all of our shows, Spotify feeds. You can take a look at them there. But Game on Hockey is your daily show, getting you up to date on news for the whole league. Now, coming up very, very, very soon, we are going to be relaunching our Game On local shows in all of the markets where we have shows. So all of the Canadian markets will be having a daily news show that's going to come out at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon with the most important stuff you need to know about the team for that day, whether it's setting up that night's game, or talking about like some lineup changes that might be happening, or even if there's just a big narrative that is starting to consume that market. That is what you are going to find on Game On, insert market name here, for all of our folks across the network. So, what is it about the Oilers that keeps them from having, again, this killer instinct, this thing that makes them be able to have all the chances in the world and ultimately be unable to finish? I think a big part of it is still a over-reliance on pushing the puck to the stars. In this case, it is pushing the puck to Leon Draisaitl, pushing the puck to Evan Bouchard, and not having players feel empowered enough, whether that's by players in the dressing room, whether that's by the coaching staff. It's players who have the ability to score and have proven historically that they are 5-on-5 goal scorers. Jeff Skinner's a perfect example. Victor Arvidsson, another great example. There's not enough effort to get other players the puck. I think this team's still a little bit too much on focusing on getting the puck to their kind of big name players, especially with McDavid being out. Now, McDavid was skating today, which is very positive. Hopefully that will lead to him being back a little bit sooner. I mean, the guess for that injury was 2 to 3 weeks. It's been a full week now. So at the earliest he comes back is about just about a week from now. More likely he'll be back for the Eastern swing. I mean, what a great story it would be for him to return from injury in Toronto and for that game a few weeks down the line. But the Oilers spend so much time trying to cycle it to players who have this like kind of star power focus, and it's keeping the secondary scores, I think, from being as beneficial and as contributory to this lineup as it possibly can be. Now, you had Adam Henrique early part of this game. He was all over the ice. Really, really, really good positionally. He had a couple of nice shot moments. He has the skills as he's developed over his entire career. Like he at one point for the New Jersey Devils was their number one center as they were cruising their way through the playoffs so many moons ago. So the talent didn't disappear, but he's not getting the chances, perhaps, not getting a chance to go on the power play. I am baffled why time and time again you are rolling out this combination of Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Ekholm, and Hyman when it is, aside from the Toronto Maple Leafs, one of the worst power plays in the NHL, and you keep going out with the exact same thing over and over and over again. Switch it up, change it up, try something different, try anything at this point. And if you have to adjust the fundamental way your power play plays, then you have to do it, because what you're doing isn't working, and it is absolutely killing this team. Now, the chat's pretty quiet tonight, which, I get it. It's a Monday. We're all sleepy. We were up late yesterday. So I'm going to take our overtime segment here today to shout out some folks who are trying to put some very cool work and very cool projects on the go throughout oil country. Her name is Alicia. If you find her on Twitter, she's at Leash a Dog. So LeaShadawg. And she's doing a feature story for her class project on Zach Hyman and his impact on the community and the city. If you have any unique experiences that you've had with Zach, or just even meeting him around town, or heck, running into him at the dog park, anything like that would be really, really appreciated by Alicia. So you can send stuff her way. Again, their Twitter handle is at LeaShadawg. If you have any very cool Zach Hyman stories you'd like to pass on this one. One other kind of cool, nice note from this game comes to us from the tweeting fingers of one Mr. Bob Stauffer, who pointed out that with Derek Ryan and Noah Philp playing in this game, it is the first time in almost 30 years that two U of A grads, former Golden Bears, have played on the ice in an NHL game at the exact same time. That being said, did not love Derek Ryan's game. This one, he is 37 years old. He did have the night off in Calgary yesterday. Derek, you might be a platoon player from now on, because he had a rough go tonight. There was that one chance on the pass from Connor Brown going all the way across the ice that he just didn't get enough juice on to get past up and over Jake Allen. But his game tonight really didn't impress me. Noah Philp still doing really well. One Oilers bright spot I want to continue, and I'll be banging this drum for the rest of the season, and hopefully the dam breaks for him soon. Really liked what we saw from Vasily Podkolzin tonight. My partner laughs at me because whenever he gets a scoring attempt, I happily yell, "Now this is pod racing!" And when he eventually scores, that will be so much better, and not just me dumb and silly on my own. So he almost pots in a goal from Leon Draisaitl tonight. Just misses it on the easy tip in. He is showing that he has the ability to play in a way that we kind of saw Zach Hyman play when he first got here. Getting into the dirty areas, wrestling people out of pucks, and then moving that puck into positions of scoring. So we've seen that happen from Podkolzin with a really nice type of regularity. I almost wonder if you maybe want to change that lineup a little bit and go out with a mixture of Draisaitl alongside Podkolzin and Jeff Skinner to have a little bit of a different look, and then make Arvidsson, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman play together. Don't know how it'll all shake out. This team, though, is without Ryan McLeod and without Dylan Holloway, and especially without Philip Broberg on the back end. Their speed is a problem. You have their top players who are liquid fast, but not enough throughout the rest of the lineup to compete with some of the faster, better skating teams in this league, especially like the New Jersey Hockey Devils. That'll just about wrap us up here for Game Over Edmonton. I am Graham Mosimann. We have another game coming up on Wednesday. Austin will be hosting your Game Over for that one as the Oilers take on the visiting Vegas Golden Knights. Those games are already always super fun. Then Edmonton heads to Vancouver on Saturday. I believe Avery will be hosting that one. I'll have to double check to be certain. And then the Eastern Conference road trip starts the weekend after that. So a couple big test games coming up here in the next little bit. We'll see where the Oilers are at. Hopefully not having lost too much ground when Connor McDavid returns. At the moment, they sit 5th in the Pacific Division, tied with Calgary and Vancouver, 4 points behind the Kings and 4 points behind the Golden Knights, who are in 1st and 2nd, respectively. Have yourself a great evening, stay safe, and we will talk next game here on Game Over Edmonton.